Paintball nerd.
All right, today's guest on Paintball Nerds Fun 5 started his pro career in 2000 with Dynasty. With his best friends, he's got 60 plus pro wins. He's recently coming off his three-peat of a World Cup and title victory. He's co-owner of Field One and co-founder of Hormesis. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Alex Fraige. How
Hey,
you doing,
Isaac,
Nick?
thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thanks for hopping on. So, big weekend this past weekend, huh?
Yeah, we're just winding down right now. I got a nice little cold that I got from World Cup, but that's okay. It was definitely worth it. Um, Certainly a lot of illumination for me and the boys on the team, and big things for Hormesis and Dynasty, and just always love going down there and seeing everybody and having a couple laughs and going to Old Town. Just World Cup vibes.
Yeah, man. And you played amazing.
Thank you.
And I love the Willy Wonka move with the slow old man walk and then sprinting off the field. That's become your signature move there.
Yeah, just trying to bring a little fun into it. A lot of guys take it super seriously, and I feel like, the stakes really aren't high enough to have a miserable time. So just enjoying myself a little bit.
Awesome, dude. I love it. So 3 World Cups in a row. You've got a ton of amazing victories in paintball before that. I'm sure you've got a lot of memories traveling all throughout the world and all kinds of crazy times that you've had in paintball. So do you have a favorite memory?
I've got a lot of really great memories from paintball, but if I had to pick one memory, it would probably be playing with my dad out at Mare Island when I very first started back in the mid '90s. I feel like really it was a great way for me to connect with him during a really tough time in my life, and really my love for paintball was sort of cemented into place during those times. So if I had to pick one thing that was most important to me, it would be that. Now, if I was going to pick like kind of a competitive tournament paintball memory, it would be winning Spider Cup in 2000 when we won the Ford Mustangs with me, Ryan Yosh, BC, and a guy by the name of Kenny Chamberlain, who was basically our handler at the time, who because none of us were old enough to do anything ourselves. But if you don't know, Spider Cup was this tournament where you had to use a Spider paintball gun, and first prize was 5 Ford Mustangs, and you could not be pro. So Oliver had gone pro with the Ironman that year in 2000, and the rest of us were still amateurs, so we were allowed to play the tournament, and we ended up winning. And I remember that being like a really big win over Oliver for me. Like he made the choice to go pro with the Ironman, so it disqualified him for this tournament. We won the cars, so I rolled up in high school with this Mustang, and definitely felt at least a little bit superior in that way. So that was probably my favorite win of all time.
That's awesome. Yeah, Rin was sharing the same memory, and I believe he said that there was an error saying that he said that you guys played Farside, which is not true, correct?
No, we played Strange in the finals. So,
okay.
and those guys, they never let it go, man, because we ended up playing those guys in pro a bunch because we went pro around the same time, and they were just always disgruntled about that. And I'm buds with a bunch of the guys, and we still talk and stuff. But yeah, they're still salty about that because they really wanted those cars.
Yeah, and they won the game, right? You went up the center and grabbed the flag.
Yeah, so it was like they used to do this 4-team round robin for the finals and most of the tournaments. So there'd be 4 teams. You'd play each team once, and whoever had the most points at the end of it would be the winner. So, we won our first 2 games, and then I think Strange maybe had lost one. So all we needed to do was get a certain amount of points. So it's like get the flag and shoot like a guy or 2. And so we went we went for broke on getting this flagpole. We got it, and then lost the game. And then I just remember Kenny, you had a chrono off, so you could lose the game even after that if you had a hot gun after the game. I just remember Kenny smashing all the paint in his hopper and breaking his gun before he chronoed off so he wouldn't get a hot gun. And
oh my gosh,
yeah, that was quite an experience.
Did you get the flag off the break, or did you delay up there?
Yeah. God, I think I may have delayed like one bunker delay just really quickly. And I remember grabbing the
Yeah.
flag, and Kenny had gotten shot, and I just heard him scream like he was so happy. He's like, yes, and then I got bunkered in the back, and yeah, that was that.
Oh
But
man,
yeah, it's weird. Like,
that's a good one.
I go through like a lot of the memories and the times and games, and a game like that I can still remember like it was yesterday. But NXL match from last year, I'll be like, what are you talking about? Have no
Yeah,
recollection of it at all. So yeah, I mean, during the more formative years, I definitely have more fond memories. During like the climb. To
yeah,
being a good player.
yeah. I think one of the reasons for that. I was talking with Oliver about this yesterday. Is like the format of X Ball. There's so many games packed in that little moments are harder to appreciate and recall. Like, like picture and imagine if Spider's Cup was X Ball format, that run up the middle to grab the flag is a lot less impactful because there's another point afterwards.
I mean, that's
You
a good
know?
point. And I was talking to somebody about that at the tournament when we were watching a low scoring game. It was like 2-1 or something like that. And I was like, you know what? A lot of people look at this game and think it's boring, but I think it's,
Yeah.
it's dramatic. Like you had
Yes.
that long, like back in the day when there was 10 man, you play the team one time and each game was like a story, you'd go
Yes.
up bodies and then you'd have to like push into the other team. And, that you still get that at the ICPL and woods ball style tournaments, which I think is
Hmm.
something that's kind of been lost in the modern pro format and the X ball format. So yeah,
For
I
sure.
totally agree with you that there's drama and tension, just like in a movie, right? Like if it's a movie, if there's violence the whole movie, you're like, oh, okay, like John
Yeah.
Wick, it's just like there's violence the
Yeah.
whole time. Yeah,
Yeah.
constantly. But if you've got a movie that's drama, and then violence, you know, you can build to the climax and really kind of accentuate the story. And yeah, I
Yes.
mean that is a thing.
Yeah. So 10 minute, what you're saying is more sexy.
In a way, yeah. I mean, I think it is that you can build more of a story around
Yeah.
each game, and the you know the consequences are higher. And I feel
Yeah.
like when you make a big move, it's bigger than in a 5-man game.
Totally. Yeah. But with NXL, consistency and teamwork is what wins it. I mean, you guys, it wasn't even close. You guys winning World Cup, it wasn't even like a question. And there's a couple points where uh, you and Ryan and Oliver were kind of like all lined up. Oliver's in the center, and you and Ren were in Doritos, and that was kind of special watching that. Um, but anyway, yeah, consistency is what wins X Ball. But where I was going with that, Alex, is like, do you have a favorite player?
I mean, growing up, my two favorite players were Mike Bruno and Rocky Cagnoni. And
Yeah,
I feel like the way Mike Bruno played was just super gritty. It wasn't pretty, but he always got the job done, right? He was just um, a very kind of undersung hero type of player. Like he wasn't flashy. He just, did his job, loved to bunker people, had a chip on his shoulder, did what it took to win. And also he was really friendly. Like I remember he was like one of the first, you know, non-California pros to be super cool to me. And we used to play GoldenEye 007 at the tournaments, right? Like he'd come over when I was on this team called the Diggers into the hotel room and we'd like, battle at that. And then when I met Rocky, obviously I saw him in push and playing on Avalanche before I really got to know him. Once I got to know him, I realized that, he was a good player, but he just didn't take it that seriously. He was out there playing and having fun and enjoying himself. And
yeah,
I feel like that was paramount to him. And he still does. I mean, he's still out at the tournaments having fun and enjoying himself. And he still plays the 10 mans and all that stuff. And he's the same Rocky. So, a guy who truly loves paintball. And I feel like him, it is sort of, it is my identity as a person. being a paintball player and going to tournaments and having a good time. So, and he's competitive. Obviously, he played at the top level for a long time, and he made one of the coolest moves ever on paintball film when he bunkered Davey in the snake in I think that was 1999 in the Push movie. And I remember seeing that. I was like, my mind was blown. And, everybody's was like, you can't do that. It's like the first guy that ever did a slam dunk, But yeah, so those two guys, I still have good relationships with, and I was fortunate enough to play with Mike the past 2 years at the Chicago ICPL, and, had Rocky on the all-star team last year at Tim Montrosser's tournament. And I definitely look up to both those guys. And I would say, favorite players.
Yeah. Rocky, I heard he cracked his lens on that move.
Really? I didn't know that. I believe it though. He kind of slammed pretty hard.
Yeah, definitely. And with Bruno, I think between him and Saransky, they made Sandana what they are today.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I remember Oliver seeing those guys and then wanting to kind of emulate their style. So yeah, I would. I don't know for a fact, but those were the first guys I remember seeing wearing that stuff, and then it became cool. Yeah. So yeah, good on them.
I remember back in the day, you wore a Sandana headband that was black with white skulls, and I that's what I wanted to wear too, so I got one too. But now it's
right there. That one.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh
right
man,
there.
it's still alive.
Yeah, that's the original one.
Dude, mine you can't even tie anymore because it's like held on by a string. But I wear a Hormesis now.
That a boy.
So Alex, do you have a special paintball item that is super nostalgic for you, or you don't want to step on the field without?
I used to wear this shirt. My very first paintball team was called the Monkeys, and I had a shirt that I made with a hand-drawn logo and all the players were listed on there. And I wore that shirt on Sunday for from when I started playing tournaments all the way to probably the mid 2000s when, Dynasty was successful. I still have it somewhere in a box. I wouldn't say that's my one item. I kind of, after that, stopped becoming superstitious about stuff. But I do have like this gun right here, certainly nostalgic, sentimental piece for me. This is the,
Ooh.
Yeah. Call that the Green Machine.
Dang.
So yeah, it's got a cap frame. Yeah. Right feed. It's a mini cocker. There's these pictures here where Oliver and I, doing this, the wanted, you'd pay $1 and they'd pop out in those things, but those are from probably 1999.
Wow.
Yeah, so that
still work?
It does, but so I need to get it. I think it needs a new 3-way, but I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it dialed in, and maybe I'll give it a rip next year.
Nice.
So yeah, that's
a good one.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, I look at this every day, and I'm like, it brings back really good memories, good times.
Beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
So, Alex, man, you didn't, just wake up one day and you were successful in paintball. You didn't just wake up and you were, founder of companies and a multiple world champion. What does it take to get to that point? What does it take to get to your level? Not just as a player, dude, but just in the industry.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, especially after your post the other day, talking about, how special, our group and our team is. But then you said, oh, you went through the divisional pits and kind of had this epiphany and realized, we're not special. We're just, we just have worked at it, which there's something to that, right? We put in our 10,000 hours, right? So what does it take? I mean, it takes hard work, but the reason we put in hard work was because we loved doing it. And I still do love doing it. I mean, I could go to a tournament and lose every game still, and I'd go home and be like, hey, I had a good time. I got to go hang out with my friends. I got to travel somewhere. I got to blow off some steam. There's silver linings way beyond winning, right? And winning just became a byproduct of our love for what we were doing. additionally, for a lot of us, we really found a family and a home in paintball, right? Like there's a lot of me. I mean, I have my own family now, but when I started playing, it was a tough time in my life where my real family was sort of falling apart. And I was able to supplement that with these guys I met out at the paintball field. And it still feels that way, even though, I love my family and I have kids and a wife and everything is great. I still feel at home when I'm at a paintball tournament. So, I feel like the sense of community and really embracing that for us is something that made it necessary to keep doing. And because we kept doing it, made us better and better and better. And then you fail and then you figure out why you failed and you get better and you get better. And like it's trials and tribulations, Dynasty. Yeah, we've won a lot, but we've had a bad year. We've had bad couple of years. We've had a streak of bad years. And then, I mean, it depends on how you qualify the word bad, but we didn't win tournaments, but I don't necessarily mean that's bad. It means you're learning. And if you don't give up, you can, eventually, rise up again. And I feel like there's been mountains and valleys, but really the bottom line is, what does it take? It takes passion and commitment and a reason. Like it's like I said before, it's my identity as a person. Like that's who I am, right? I'm a paintball guy. So I'm gonna keep doing that because it's part of me. And I think that, that's probably the main driving factor at this point for me about what it takes. Because, I mean, you see people that pick up a paintball gun and they say, hey, I'm going to be a pro paintball player. But why? Why?
Yeah.
You got to ask yourself that. And you're totally right. I mean, I wasn't born a good paintball player. I'm barely a natural athlete. I'm just, a scrawny kid. And I feel like paintball is one of these games that allows the not naturally gifted people to be good or excel, and especially in the teamwork part of it, right? It's very cerebral. You've got to be able to trust and gel with your teammates and believe in them, and learn how to work with them, and definitely a lesson in teamwork and communication, not only on the field, but you've got to, I've been on teams on Dynasty where there's cliques of players that feel like things aren't being run properly, and then there's dissension, and then there's why is that guy talking shit about me, and there's this whole dynamic of a kind of like a political structure, and that's very valuable to go through that so you can learn how to correct it in the future. And I mean, if you're out there and you're a young kid and you're wanting to play paintball, and you go out there and have fun doing it, find people like you and keep doing it and keep having fun at it. I mean, even now, I get up in the morning to go to practice. I'm like, oh, why am I getting up early? I should be at home with my family, this and that. But then you get out there and you have to relish. Like, I mean, it's like, I just feel blessed to be out there and running around and acting like a kid, and you can just leave your worries behind, especially when you're on the field. There's no time to think about anything else other than playing the game. And that's where the beauty is for me. So, I mean, if you like doing it, figure out why you like it and then keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like, if you want to get to that level, you just have to keep going. You just have to keep showing up. And in order for that to even make sense, you have to love the game.
Totally. I mean, I can't tell you how many days I spent out at the paintball field, getting my ass kicked. And I started playing paintball. I didn't even know tournaments were a thing. We were just out there having fun, running around in the woods.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize tournament paintball was even a thing for 2 years. I was just out there running around with my dad and my friends.
And look at all the things it's brought you now.
Yeah, all my best friends, my whole life. It really has. So I'm grateful for paintball and the community and I'm gonna cry. All the all the good positive things it's brought me. Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say you're most thankful for that paintball has brought you?
Um, Probably my blue paintball nerd shirt that I got from you at World Cup.
No, you can't. You can't. No, you
No,
can't
no,
do that.
it's my friends. It's my friends. You know, it's the people that I met along the way for sure. There's no question about it. You know, those guys and people are you know, irreplaceable, and you know, you included, pal. I mean, just the whole fabric of the paintball community is something that people they look for their whole life, right? And we were lucky enough to have found it, right? You know, I mean, people go to
Yeah,
religion, they go to alcohol, they go to the
sure.
gym. They do, they're looking for this sense of community and belonging. And the human spirit yearns for that. And I feel like I'm fulfilled in that because of paintball.
Yeah, and I think you personally thrust a lot of people back into that, dude. Myself included. Like, I was saying this to Oliver. Like, when I got that headband from you, and you had written that note to me, I just felt like, wow, like I felt remembered. Like I felt like I'd been out of paintball so long, and I was I'm still working for Brian. I was working for Brian, and I was in paintball, but I was for the most part away from the scene. And then you know all of a sudden this headband shows up, and you write this beautiful note to me, and it's like, gosh, man, I just you just made me feel so important, Alex. You just made me feel so remembered, dude, and it just really inspired me to I like just embrace this community, and that's a big part of why Paintball Nerd exists. It's like I want to also make my mark on paintball, and I know for a fact that you didn't just do that for me. You must have done that for hundreds of other people as well.
Yeah, like if somebody reached out and said, "Hey, what's up?" I want a headband, or I see what you're doing and I think it's cool. Anything like that. And if it's people, someone that I knew and made an impact on me, I feel like, you know, it was the least I could do to acknowledge that. And as a token of appreciation, I mean, I remember hanging in San Diego and just ripping it up out of Velocity with you, and hanging out in PB and all that stuff, man. I mean, that's part of you know an important chapter in my life that you were a part of, and a lot of these other paintball players in the community were too at times in my life, right? So like you impacted me, and then I hopefully can impact a whole bunch of other people in that same positive way, right? Like, dude, I mean, I remember hanging in PB and just like carefree days.
Yeah.
Um, so and then going to play paintball on the weekends. You can't beat it. Um,
Yeah, man.
so yeah, man. I mean, I want to feel acknowledged, and I want other people to feel acknowledged, and if I can give that to people, I do my best to do that.
Well, you certainly did. At least with me, man. And
Yeah, and it was really cool to
I'm
see
really
you
thankful that you
playing,
did.
with Eric Hunter and Opie and all those guys. Like you know, out there ripping it up like old times, and those guys are still out there playing when they can, and I love seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Ah, Eggs, thank you so much for your time here, man. Is there anything that you'd like to part with for the paintball community?
Nothing but love. I mean, support Paintball Nerd. Go check it out. Starting up a new thing, and you're good people, so we will support you, and I'm sure you're providing a great service to people that do business with you. So shout out to you guys, and I love the logo.
Cool, man. Thanks for your time, Alex.
You bet.